I know the belt-tightening memo, now that I've read it, I'm not sure how much more it does that ED3 is still in effect. So, aren't these things subject to ED3 already?
No, they're not AFEs.
There's a contract.
It's a contract. So yeah, that's why we asked for clarification from the mayor's office in terms of contracts. So they included everything under the contract world. So personal services, professional services, construction contracts, change orders, construction orders, AFEs, MOAs, LOAs.
I know. A lot of that stuff's covered by ED3 already. So the belt tightening memo doesn't really do anything. Those things are already subject to mayoral approval under the directive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an additional step for us.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is many of the things that within the scope of that belt tightening memo are already subject to mayoral or ED3. So the directive doesn't really add anything. You don't need the mayor's approval twice. That's fine.
Agreed. I think it just covers, I believe it now includes the construction side of the house as opposed to the professional services.
It absolutely goes beyond, it certainly does go beyond ED3. So some things are already subject to mayoral approval, so whatever. But there are now things that are subject to mayoral approval that were not subject.
Yeah. And the other thing that I need to get clarity on is if I recall correctly, it's only through the end of the fiscal year. And then July 1st, that memo expires. So I'm not sure if the mayor will release a new one to continue the belt tightening measures starting July 1st forward or not. So I'll get some clarity from the mayor's office on that.
Yeah, I'll look at it too. It should be fairly clear.
Otherwise, I think it just said throughout this fiscal year.
Well, then if it says throughout this fiscal year, then you don't need to get clarity.
I just assume that July 1st it's...
Well, that's what it says. I mean, if that's what it says, then you don't need to ask for clarity. It's already clear.
Okay. That works with me.
But I don't have it in front of me. I have to find it again.
Cairo, if you can hear me. Cairo, are you in the room?
Yes.
Oh, Cairo, if you can hear me on the for the Novus minutes, I'm on there now, but I don't have the table for quorum. So what I can do is I can put the quorum notes under item number 1, but you would have to have Misha just remove them from that item and then built in the quorum table.
Okay, I'll let her know about the adjustment. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put in and start dates and then quorum also under item 1.
Is Erica our presenter?
Yes, Erica Blyther.
Okay. Hello. Hi. Commissioner Garcia, I stole from your candy bowl.
No problem.
I apologize. I'm being caught on video today with no jacket. I thought I had one hanging in my closet in there, and I don't.
But the COVID has finally got in there.
Are we ready, Dr. Campos and Cairo?
We are. President James, just a quick update. We will be requesting item number 1 to be approved as amended, subject to the mayor's approval due to the belt tightening memo.
Right.
And then we also have the consultant, Val Lerner from Interact Inc. listening in. No questions at this time, but just in case the commission has any questions, she is available.
Okay, thank you. And we have Mr. Jordan available as well. I see him there.
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and start the recording on my end.
Yes.
Microphone systems are on as well. The recording from Granicus is on. So, Cairo, can you just make sure that both the clickers are turned up under the PA system, the microphone at the bottom, and then also the council file audio line?
Okay, yeah, they're turned up, Fernando.
Okay, great. So that means that folks that are calling in from council audio are listening in, and also those that are dialing in through the website can listen to us as well. Recordings are on, so President James, we are ready to begin when you are.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the special meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, May 1st, 2020. The meeting is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. It is 1:41 p.m. this Friday afternoon. Dr. Campos, you can go ahead and establish quorum for us.
Thank you, President James. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Establishing quorum for today, we have Commissioner James in City Hall. We also have Commissioner Caloza, Commissioner Villegas, Commissioner Davis, and Commissioner Garcia that are calling in remotely from their homes. Myself, I'm also dialing in remotely, and we also have our City Council, Ted Jordan, on the line as well, calling in or dialing in remotely. That does, we do have quorum. At this time, President James, we do not have any public commentary under the public comment section, no neighborhood council commentary, and no speaker cards were received on item number 1 for today's agenda.
Okay, and you don't have anyone in the call queue as well, correct, Dr. Campos?
I do have one person in the call queue, the consultant from Interact, just in case there's any questions, but no commentary at this time.
Got it. All right, I'll call agenda item special 1 today. Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas Administration and Safety, Authority for Expenditure for Interact PMTI Incorporated, recommending that the board approve the authority for expenditure in the amount of $25,000 to Interact PMTI to conduct research and provide a written study report to verify the city's subsurface mineral rights, royalty payments, and to identify missing royalty studies for petroleum and gas. And secondly, authorize the president or 2 members of the Board of Public Works, subject to the city attorney's approval, to execute this authority for expenditure in the amount of $25,000 with Interact for the franchise fee study. Ms. Blyther, we have you on this agenda item this afternoon.
Good afternoon, commissioners and department representatives. I sincerely appreciate your time, and I really thank you for holding this meeting today. I'm Erica Blyther, the Acting Petroleum Administrator, and I'm providing some background and context for this item. In June of 2018, the Los Angeles City Controller issued an audit review of the City of Los Angeles oil and gas drilling sites, making a number of recommendations on 3 main themes. 1, protecting Angelino's public safety and health. 2, protecting taxpayers' financial interests. And 3, increasing transparency. Among them was a recommendation to determine whether the city received appropriate royalty payments. Per the audit, the city owns a large real estate portfolio. However, the city's inadequate oversight of oil and gas extraction from under or subsurface city-owned property makes it unlikely that the city is realizing the related value of its real estate assets. Council-controlled and proprietary departments, Recreation and Parks, General Services, Harbor, Department of Water and Power, and the Library all provided information that showed oil and gas operators paid $390,000 in royalty revenue in fiscal year 2017. However, the controller could not confirm the accuracy of these payments because 1, the city does not currently know the locations of all subsurface parcels where it owns mineral rights and has participated in a pooling and unitization agreement, and 2, the city departments acknowledge that they do not have a process to verify that operators paid appropriate royalties. The following recommendations were made for the Petroleum Administrator to carry out. 1, perform title research of land records to identify subsurface parcels whose mineral rights are owned by the city. For those related to oil fields with active extraction activity, determine whether the city received appropriate royalty payments. For well operators who did not pay the city royalties it was owed, consult with the city attorney to explore legal options. 2, develop an improved reporting process to provide assurance of compliance with lease requirements, including periodic reviews of royalty payments. This authority for expenditure would begin the process. The Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas Administration and Safety is requesting this AFE to authorize work to determine the royalties due the city from petroleum mineral rights and to determine whether sufficient public revenue has remained uncollected to warrant further investigation and evaluation. Interact is the one company willing to provide these specialized services to the city, and they have a representative on the call today if there are any specialized questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blyther. Thank you for the explanation. This was not a surprise, I don't think, that this has been coming, as you indicated in your report. Are there any questions at all? Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, yes. Commissioner James, I have, I guess, a kind of technical question, an open-ended question for the experts in terms of what do we think the time limit will be in us developing an infrastructure of data that will be able to tell us about adequate payments that are due the city?
So Ms. Blyther, Dr. Campos, or our representative from Interact, whoever would like to step in on that?
Interact.
Am I unmuted? This is Val Lerma.
We hear you.
Hi, Val.
Oh,
Yes,
great.
go ahead.
Oh, great. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, how long it's going to take has to do with what kind of condition your records are in. So to kick off this process, we've got it listed as task number 1, and that is to meet together with your staff members to try to find out what kind of condition your records are in. What we'll do is develop some sort of Excel spreadsheet to try to itemize all of the leases that you have, along with the royalty payments. We'll try to include all the contact information and see where the gaps might be. I think this project is slated for a 90-day process. Is that correct, Erica?
That's correct, 90 days.
Okay, so we'll see how far we can get, but again, it really depends on what kind of condition the records are in. If we find a lot of gaps or we have to do a lot of title researches, we plan to use our landman. It's West Coast land. Keith Rapley, I've worked with him and his father for decades, and they're on the hook to help us. They're familiar with your online system if they want to try to research documents, but we'll just have to see where we're at once we get that first pass from meeting with your staff and going through the records to see what you have and what kind of condition it's in. Probably some of these leases are pretty old, would be my guess.
So basically, you will report back to the board in 90 days with an assessment of what is needed for us to successfully achieve an adequate record of payments due, correct?
Right, that's correct. And what I'll do is the ones that are easy, I'll get them in a spreadsheet for you so you can see what you know you have. And then the stuff that seems kind of fuzzy, you know, maybe the details aren't right, or we might find a lease that you haven't got any payment on for 20 years, and we'll have to figure out why that is. Maybe somehow the lease was terminated, or the operator went bankrupt, or abandoned the wells, and you know, there's no record of it in your file. So, you know, that kind of stuff will take a little bit of research to figure out.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
I don't really have any questions. I'm actually, you know, that was a really good question, Davis, and look forward to the 3-month report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Villegas.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. I just had a quick question for the consultant. This kind of review and assessment, is this something that you guys have done previously for other clients specific to oil and gas and petroleum records?
So my background, I've been in the oil industry for about 38 years. I started out with Chevron, and I had my own consulting practice. And then when I was president of a small oil company for 4 years, and during that tenure, I spent a lot of time looking at leases and working with landmen to try to obtain leases, to try to understand leases. So I do have a lot of background in this particular area. So this is a project I'll do myself. We also have a geologist on staff that I've worked with for over 10 years that also has a lot of experience in leases. And then if it gets into something we need a landman for, we've got Keith Rapley on the hook, and his sole job is to do lease research, title, chain of title kind of reports. Because sometimes when a lease is held by a particular person and that person dies and they will it to their 3 kids, and then their 3 kids die and they will it to the 10 grandkids, you know, you can have to do a lot of research to figure out who owns the lease anymore. So I'm very familiar with that kind of investigative work. So I think I have a fair amount of experience, and I feel really comfortable tackling this project.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that about your background. That was really helpful. And just one last question for me, for Ms. Blyther. But is this study, this assessment, we've done it in the past, or would this be really the first time we were conducting such an assessment of all these leases?
This is the first time in recent history. It may have been done when the office was initially formed back in the, I guess, 50s or 60s, but we have not done it in many, many years. So, yeah, there's a lot of, this office is still digging through things to try and figure out where things should be located. So yeah, this would be the, I guess, inaugural study of this.
Okay, got it. That's, thank you for adding that additional context. I know this kind of work is critical to building up the infrastructure of the office again. So appreciate you making this a priority. I don't have any other questions, President James.
Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Seeing no other questions on the queue, I'll make a motion that we adopt special item number 1 as amended, which was described by Dr. Campos regarding, Dr. Davis? Oh, okay, that's a second by Commissioner Davis. Thank you. That's as amended regarding the approval by the mayor's office as put on the record by Dr. Campos. Correct, Dr. Campos?
That is correct.
All right, Mr. Jordan, any issues from your office?
No, we reviewed the letter of agreement already, so before it goes out, we'll sign it as well as the AFE.
Okay, then that's a second to my motion as amended. Any objection, Commissioner Garcia? Okay, no objection from Commissioner Garcia.
No objection.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Villegas?
No objections, thank you.
Thank you. Any objection, Commissioner Caloza?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. So without objection, we'll adopt agenda item special 1. Any issue sending special 1 as amended forthwith? Without objection, we'll send special 1 as amended forthwith. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk this afternoon?
Yes, you have.
All right, thank you everyone for your attention and for your attendance on the special meeting today. Have a nice, safe weekend, and our next board meeting will be Tuesday, May the 5th at 10 a.m. Correct, Dr. Campos?
That is correct, Tuesday the 5th.
All right, 10 a.m. And that's, just beware everyone, that looks like a long agenda with a couple of, and time-wise certainly, with a couple of potentially complicated items. So we'll talk to everyone then. And so with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Everybody have a good weekend.
You too.
No problem. It was harmless.